Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Harobeds Thoughts Presents Author Spotlight. I'm your host, Deborah Jefferson, author of Poet and Life Coach and founder of the Our Words Matter Authors Expo. Thank you all for joining us as we continue to celebrate the power of our storytelling, creativity, and the voices that inspire, educate, and uplift. Tonight, I am honored to shine the spotlight on a talented author whose work reflects passion, purpose, and perseverance, Cecilia M. Columbus. Now, during our conversation, we'll learn more about her journey as an author, the inspiration behind her writing, the challenges she has overcome, and the message that she hopes readers take away from her work. Whether you're an inspiring author, an avid reader, or simply someone who appreciates a great story, you're in for an inspiring discussion. So, as always, I encourage everyone watching to engage in the comments, ask questions, and show some love and support for our featured guests. So, grab your coffee, your favorite beverage, settle in, and help me welcome tonight's featured author, Cecilia M. Columbus, to the Harobeds Thoughts Author Spotlight. And here she is. Hey, Cece, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And we are going to get ready and get started on a great show. So, since I did give you a brief introduction, how about you start with a little bit of just telling the people who you are, who's Cece?
Well, hi, I'm Cecilia Columbus. I am an educator, special education teacher
Mhm.
by trade. Um, what else? I am a newly published author. I
Yeah.
also write poetry, a podcaster as well, and a host of other things in the background.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get into it and just let people know that tonight we are here to discuss your book, Breaking the Chains. And so we will go ahead and get right on into the show. And let's make sure we welcome in some of our visitors. We have Bold One for Life on YouTube. She's watching. She says, "Hello, Harobeds Thoughts in chat. Thank you so much for joining us." And I know a few others will be on in just a moment in the comments. So we'll go ahead and get started. And I won't take up too much of your time tonight. So just talking about your book and your journey, Breaking the Chains, and you can give us the full name. But what inspired you to start writing, and when did you realize that you wanted to become an author?
Hmm. What inspired me to, okay, so first, my book is Breaking the Chains, Finding Healing, Forgiveness, and Freedom in God.
Okay.
And I've been writing for years. I
Mhm.
think about my writing starting back when I was a kid and I had those
Mhm.
Lisa Frank um, accessories and all of
Yes.
the nice things that my mom would buy me, and I would write to pen pals. I had letters that I would write to people in church.
Mhm.
Every single Sunday, I would write my bishop a letter as a
Oh,
kid.
wow.
So I was always writing. So that was
Mhm.
something that I didn't really like think I wanted to grow up and be a writer, but I really just
Mhm.
enjoyed writing throughout my teenagehood. I wrote poetry that
Okay.
was published in some of my high school books as well.
Mhm.
So, um, yeah, I just always found myself either being called upon to write or
Mhm.
just writing in some aspect. And I always thought about writing a book, and forever I just didn't know if I wanted to publish my story
Mhm.
through a fiction or
Right.
nonfiction. I just,
Okay.
that was my biggest debate.
Yes.
So, after, struggling about 10 to 12 years with this book, I finally said, you know what, let me just go ahead and just break these chains off and write this book.
Right. Okay. Okay. Well, that's great. So, being that you wrote a different genres and you started writing the letters, so would you say you have a love, I guess, for letter writing specifically, or?
Um, yeah, I would say I definitely did enjoy writing letters at one point in time.
Okay.
I've written, you know, I enjoy writing my school papers. I know that's not something
Hmm.
that people most of the time say, but
Right.
I
Everybody,
enjoy
let me
doing
get
the
this
research
paper over
part
with.
and writing that. And even people asking me to
Mhm.
write their school papers for them at times. So yeah, I
Right.
mean, writing's always been something that I've been passionate about,
Mhm.
and I don't know, it's just something like I guess in some part I've always wanted to be an author because it's always been on my vision boards as a
Okay.
throughout my adulthood, and it was just to be like this great author who have all of these books, to be a New York Times bestseller. So that was one of those
Mhm.
dreams that I had. But then as I start to get more into reality of authorship, I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't go that easy that way. So yeah, just learning a lot. So yeah.
Right. I definitely can relate to that. And so being that you had dreams of like becoming a New York Times bestseller and things like that, um, how do you publish? Are you an independent published author or have you gone traditional publishing or?
So I independently published
Mhm.
this book. So it was a self published.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. All right. And so how was that experience for you?
Well, I want to give thanks to my coach, editor, who walked me through this journey. She was so patient with me. Coach Jackie, she just I
Okay.
mean, she took my writings that I had, my starts, my stops, my journal entries, my
Mhm.
poems, and
Oh,
she took it
wow.
and put it into a cohesive,
Mhm.
book for me because I just kept stopping and started. And I was just like, I need to get this book out, but I don't know. I have so many
Right.
like notes from Otter, notes from, regular notepads and just all of the things. So I just sat one day, just typed everything up. It looked like scrambled, and then she just took it and put it together so beautifully for me. So
Right,
yeah.
I understand. It's like when I'm sitting back writing and trying to get like a memoir, especially together. I'm like, okay, you're going back and write this, and then you're going back and write that, but then you got to put it all together. So it's definitely a task, definitely a task. So I can relate to that. Um, so that kind of brings me to my next question. Tell us a little bit about the feature book that you're featuring tonight, on what it's about and kind of what inspired the story or the message behind it.
So, Breaking the Chains, Finding Healing, Forgiveness, and Freedom in God talks about my struggles of some of the internal chains that I was dealing with and kind of
Mhm.
refusing to address, disobedience,
Mhm.
unforgiveness, lust, just
Right.
promiscuity, just,
Mhm.
whatever it was that I was, dealing with that was just keeping me out of the promises of God and the will of God for my life. And then I just had to like, walk through the journey of finding the
Mhm.
healing in God and just, really releasing the soul ties, being
Mhm.
able to forgive the people that hurt me, forgive myself. At one point in time, I even was so upset with God. So, even just saying,
Mhm.
God, I forgive you. I'm this is my lament, in
Yes.
essence. And so just walking through that journey and then finding the forgiveness that beautifully opened up the door
Refreshing a
for
little
me to
bit.
be able to walk in freedom. Oh,
Okay, okay, it froze for a
uh-oh.
second. Okay, and I can definitely write that because I will we'll get into the book a little bit more because I definitely got some spots that I highlighted in my Kindle. I definitely did that. But yes, when you're talking about like the soul ties and all the different things, so I might as well go ahead and get to my question. Okay, so I'm gonna get that question I got because I got it highlighted on my because I have the Kindle version as well, and I had a it was a particular part that I was reading. One is this was well Kindle it was page 24, but it's in
Okay.
the first chapter. But it says in that season I had to be honest with myself because it wasn't always the enemy leading me there. Sometimes it was my own desire to fill a void I didn't even know was still open. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. So elaborate with us a little bit about that. How did that come about?
So I had to learn that the desires of my own flesh was leading me down the path that I was going down. So although
Mhm.
um I had served in the church for years, grew up born and raised in the church, but then
Mhm.
once I, kind of left it the church in a
Yeah.
way. I decided to just kind of start fulfilling the desires of my own flesh. And then
Mm-hmm.
once I, after a while, there's always a nudge of saying, this is not where you're supposed to be. This is not where you're supposed to belong. Like, you know better.
Right.
You need
The
to get
Holy
out of this.
Spirit.
This,
Right.
I'm
That
not going to keep
conviction.
giving you too much grace. Right. And so I
Yes.
kept having those moments. And so I was just
Mm-hmm.
like, then I really got to get to the nitty gritty of what he's leading me to fall
Mm-hmm.
into the temptation, to fall into the sin consistently. And so
Right.
that's what that was. It was just kind of like it was my
Mm-hmm.
own selfish desires, and then really get
Mm-hmm.
into the nitty gritty of what was I in search for the whole entire
Right.
time while I was, looking for whatever it was that I was seeking
Mm-hmm.
outside of the will of God.
Right, and that's with a lot of people. A lot of us. I can say me too. Raise my hand. We're all searching for something. And it's not always in God's will. And instead of us being patient and waiting on Him, to send, whether it's a job, a person, or whatever, we want to go be living the flesh, and we want to jump out there and do it ourselves, and that's not how He designed us. So it's not gonna work out, right? It's not gonna go. So yes. So and I guess this kind of goes into it. This is another something from that section. It says that realization didn't condemn me, it awakened me, and it helped me see that healing starts with acknowledging the moments when we allow our interests, our desires, or our impulses to carry us into territory God never assigned to us. That was
Absolutely.
powerful. I was like, okay, Cece, Miss Cecilia
Yes.
Columbus.
Those. Well, I mean, if you just think about it, we are led away by the lust of our own flesh, and that's pretty much what that
Yeah.
is. And it's just a
Hmm.
matter of, are we going to choose to keep serving ourselves, flesh, and
Right.
sometimes we blame the enemy, but it was us who made the phone call. It was us who
Right.
walked into the room. It was us who
Hmm.
laid in the space, right?
Exactly.
So
You're right. You're
we
right.
can blame, the enemy all day long. We can blame the devil all day
Right.
long. But then at the end of the day, we got to really take a look at ourselves and see what role we play and,
Right.
participating in that sin.
Exactly. We got to take accountability, for what we accepted or we allowed. And yeah, a lot of people don't want to do that, but you gotta accept your responsibility in the decisions that you make. I mean, yeah, things can happen, temptation and all the things, but you still accepted it. So you gotta accept that responsibility. So thank you for elaborating on that for us. I know I jumped to dive into the book a little bit, but I
It's
felt it, so
fine.
I had to go there.
It's
So
fine.
I guess I could say, who is your ideal reader, and what do you hope your readers would kind of take away from your work once they start reading it?
So my ideal reader is the woman who is kind of on that struggle fence and just
Mm-hmm.
knowing that there's more, knowing that God is calling her for more, but she don't know where to start her healing
Mm-hmm.
journey. And it begins with just identifying, the roots of, you know, what her internal struggles are, what her internal chains are. And then once she learns that, being able to walk through it and seek God. Uh-oh.
The second, we're having a couple of difficulties. I'll be right back. I do apologize. All right, I do apologize for that difficulties. Please forgive me, sis. But I tell everybody, life be life, and sometimes and things
I
happen.
understand.
But yes, I'm not gonna even like you. We got all the grandbabies and all the things. But so I hate to I don't want to ask you to repeat everything that you just said, 'cause I know the readers, I mean
No,
the
but it's
paying
it's just
attention.
basically for the woman who is struggling to identify, the error of her ways and seeking
Mm-hmm.
God and really want healing and need to start with identifying what the root cause is and digging to the deep and then being honest with God about her life. And then this will
Yeah.
walk her through that process of forgiveness and,
Mm-hmm.
identifying what freedom in God looks like.
Right. Okay. So, yes, you said children will be children. Yes, they will be, Miss Shirley. So, when you said it's leading you into, so when did you, I guess, when did you start writing the book? If I'll ask you that question first, it might be a part two question.
So I actually started writing this book about 10 years ago.
Okay. Okay. All right. And so, I guess when did you come to the final realization? I guess because writing a memoir from my experience, I know you write it as you live it. So when did you, I guess, from 10 years ago to now, come to the realization of everything or the awakening, if you will?
So I would probably say within the last 2 years,
Okay.
um, just really having a breakthrough, and
Mm-hmm.
really, honoring God, seeking God, really just wanting to please God and
Mm-hmm.
just live out his will for my life and, walk in purpose.
Right.
So with that just kind of gave me the nudge to print the book. I did print the
Mm-hmm.
book. I put it on Amazon. I
Yeah.
didn't make it go live because I was like, I need to look at that author copy.
Yes, make sure,
And
right?
then I didn't like it, and so I was just like,
Okay.
I can't really put this out there about myself like this, guys. So I,
Okay.
went through seeking prayer, and it was just like really
Mm-hmm.
finding what the root reason was for me not really wanting to publish the book, and it was really fear. And so once,
Right.
yielding to more obedience and less of
Mhm.
fear and not letting fear dictate, then I finally published the book.
Right. Okay, I can relate to that. So being that you mentioned fear, was it I guess fear of judgment of like family, friends, coworkers, things like that?
Fear of judgment, fear that
Mhm.
nobody was going to buy the book, fear nobody
Yes.
was going to read the book, right? Just
Hmm. All the
fear
things,
that
right?
all the things.
Right, right. All right. Yes, ma'am. Miss Shirley, she said, what's the name of the book? It's called Breaking the Chains, Finding Healing, Forgiveness, and Freedom in God. And I'm gonna be sharing the link on the of course in the chat shortly. She asked what the name of the book was. So I guess I know you said you took 10 years to kind of like write the story out and rewrite it. So you kind of answered that question of how you your writing process was like. So has there been a person or experience or a life lesson that has significantly influenced your writing?
There's a lot of people that were influenced in my writing, in my
Mhm.
healing journey. So, but just um, I would say one pivotal person would be Nicole, and she
Mhm.
did the forward in the book, and she
Okay.
was one who helped me pray through some dark nights and
Yes.
times.
Imagine. Mhm.
She also is an author herself, and so she
Mhm.
inspired me, and just seeing that, she's writing, I can
Right.
definitely write as well. And walking through, I think we read Redeeming Love together, which was a book about a woman who was struggling with, I don't know if I can say it, but
It's
she
okay.
was
You can
struggling
feel
with being a
free
woman
to.
in the streets, right?
Right,
She
and
kind of
that's
lived
a real
in
thing. That's
in
a
one of those
real.
houses, right? And her
Mhm, I got you.
husband, a
Yes.
man who identified her, wanted to marry her, and just kept going back to,
Mhm.
get her out and take her out of the situation. It just kind of reminded me of God leaving the 99 and going after the one,
Mhm.
right? And that's kind of what I
Right.
like to say. So, and then this story, that's kind of what really inspired it, was that God left the 99 to come after me, the one, through different
Mhm.
people. And Nicole was one of those people. So,
Okay. Okay. All right, I can understand you. And we need people like that in our lives, for some moral support, emotional support, prayer, spiritual, just a listening ear sometimes just to keep us encouraged. We do have a question from the audience. And Miss Shirley Evans on Facebook says, "How are people responding to the book and or finding value in the book?"
Mm. Well, the book was just published about a month ago.
Mhm.
So I would say it definitely still needs a little bit of time for people to read
Mhm.
and start writing reviews. So I'm looking forward to those reviews. I haven't gotten any yet. But
Mhm.
I got purchases, but I'm still
Right.
waiting for the feedback. So
And you will be
um
getting them.
but my prayer is that it will help a woman draw closer to God. It will help a woman, that's
Mhm.
struggling to get saved, get saved. It
Right.
will help a woman, find love and hope and freedom and all the things that
Mhm.
she's searching for in the world, right in God. So
Mhm. Okay, I like that. Because that's what we write our stories for, to share and help others, right? So, what advice would you give to aspiring authors who may be struggling to start or finish their book?
get started.
Yeah.
Get started. Don't worry about the process. Um, the
Mhm.
editor will come. God would lead you to people who, will help you get your vision out there. So if you put it in you, just trust the process, trust him, seek him,
Mhm.
and write and, stay connected, you
Yes.
know,
Mhm.
with other people who are probably authors, people who,
Mhm.
are have published works already, or maybe even in the writing process themselves. So
Mhm. Yes. Okay, I like that. That's a great solid answer for anyone. Let me make sure we don't have any more questions in the chat. I'm gonna skip over. No, she said thank you. All right. Thank you so much, Miss Shirley, for being such an avid listener and asking good questions. All right. So, being that you said you just released a book about a month ago, so what plans do you have as far as like promoting your work and things like that?
that's where the I learned that I didn't hit the ground running, I
Yeah.
should say. So I now I'm learning that I had to hit the ground running.
Yes,
Um
ma'am.
so I gotta pick back up because as I check my stats and things like that,
Hmm.
I'm not doing any work. And so if you don't publish it, if you don't tell nobody, no one's gonna
Right.
purchase it. They don't see it out there. So I got to do the work. So it's something that
Mhm.
I need to work on. Being better at is, doing more things in advertising. I'm learning from you. I see what
Well, thank
you
you. I'm
have
still
going
learning
on, and I'm
too.
like, okay, I got to do better. I got to do better. I got a book, and I got to do some advertising. So people
That's
not gonna
right.
know that it exists until I tell them. So yeah, I'm
That's
working on
right.
that.
Of course, we all got inspired by Latoya Dr. Mack, author Latoya Jeter. She's like, you got to tell people about your book. Oh my goodness. So yes, we do. We have to, you have to open up your mouth and speak and just let people know what you have out there, what you have, what you've written, because they don't know, especially as indie authors. They don't know unless we tell them. And speaking of indie authors, because I know that this is not your first book, and this is your first solo book, correct?
This is my first solo book. Yes.
Right. So being that you have been in anthologies, how was that experience like?
So that's much different
Mhm.
than writing your story and you just put it in a book. It's like, okay,
Right.
those other authors are also going to give their books to somebody, so somebody's going to read my story, right? So I don't have to
Right.
worry about really doing the work for an anthology because somebody's going
Okay.
to buy the book and the person's going to
Right. You're gonna get the
do
book
what they
anyway, right?
do. So somebody will find it. But then from my own
Mhm.
piece and my own work, it doesn't work that way. My name's on that book, so I got to do the work.
Right,
I
exactly.
got
You
to
gotta
do the
do the work.
legwork. I got to put the work in. I got to talk about it. So yeah.
That's right. That's right. So that's you got to. You have to, because if you don't, it's just gonna sit there on the shelf, right? So so how are you going about doing that? Have you do you have any other plans for as far as marketing and things that you're doing with your book and everything?
Well, there's so many ways that I'm learning. There's so many, ways to have a book
Mm-hmm.
business. Um,
Yes.
I am working on trying to create a journal right now to accompany the book,
Mhm.
as well as I would like to start a book club for my book. So that would be
Okay.
one way to get it out there, as well as perhaps maybe even do some webinars
Mhm.
with the book. So just some
Okay.
different things in which people will have to purchase the book to be a part of.
Right.
So that's
Yeah.
just a one way I'm considering getting the book out there.
Okay. Okay. We did have some new people that's just join us. Nitraine Campbell, Miss Monica Campbell. She says, "Congratulations, new author." And
Thank
then,
you.
yes, and then we have Bobby Goodwin says, "You got this." That's right, Bobby. She got it. That's right. That is right. And thank y'all so much for coming in here with us tonight. We definitely are enjoying the conversation. So, um, no, that's another question I wanted to ask you. Or did I skip it? No, I think I got it. I think I did got it. So so you mentioned that you don't have any other things specifically lined up, no dates or anything like that, correct? On
Um, the journal I would like to publish by next month. Um,
Okay, okay. So you got
so
it in the works then already.
yeah, I'm
Okay,
working on a journal, which is
okay.
a deeper dive into identifying the internal chains and then,
Okay.
addressing them and then, walking through what healing looks like. So
Hmm.
that's kind of what the journal is going to be. So that should
Okay.
be coming out prayerfully next month.
Okay, so it'll be kind of almost like a bundle deal in a sense, the book, and then you have the workbook in a sense to work through the issues. Okay, I like that. Because yeah, they once they get it, then they got to know how to work through the issues and get to the other side, right? Like you did. Yes, yes. Okay, all right. All right, Miss Shirley says she really does appreciate what I'm doing. Thank you, Miss Shirley. I do appreciate it. Miss Shirley's also been doing some writing and stuff too. But yes, as an author and as a community, we do have to commune with one another, network, talk to other authors, learn, because that's how we learn and grow. When iron sharpens iron, right? So we have to do that for ourselves. So Miss Shirley has a question for you. I'll let you answer. She said, "What state are you in?"
I am located in Tampa, Florida.
Okay, all right. So then you know where she is, Miss Shirley. Hopefully she'll be coming to Aiken, South Carolina soon. No pressure, no pressure. But yes, because we would love to have you, of course, at the third annual Our Words Matter Author Expo, because you are a talented author. So yes, she's Miss Cecilia Columbus. I'm not gonna call you by your nickname. And Bobby says, "Congratulations, Cecilia Columbus." Yes.
Thank
So
you.
yes, we are all so proud of you for all that you've done. So um do you have any final words for our audience or anything like that?
Um, I would just say that if there's something that you are struggling with and you're seeking to heal it through other things that are not of God or the will of God, just put it
Mhm.
down. It's
Yes.
not going to do anything but lead you into destruction, and just
Mhm.
find your, peace with yourself, peace with whatever the situation is, forgive whoever needs to be forgiven, and then just walk into the freedom of healing that God has for you. So it's
Mhm.
waiting and it's available.
Yes, definitely, definitely. That's right. She has all the resources for you guys, and so you need to get your copy of the book. Get
They
your
can
copy.
visit freedomencourages.com to get the book.
Okay, I'll add that link, and then I did have the Amazon link too, but I will also put
Okay.
your I'll put both of them on there and get that one. Hold on. And tell me what it is again. Freedom.
freedomencourages.com.
Okay, purchase.com for an autograph copy.
Yes, ma'am.
That's right, because we want those autograph copies. The Jane Hancock, right? All right, let's see here. Make sure I get that freedom encourages. Make sure I can spell. Make sure my eyes working right. And I'll put that up there for that one. And take the other one down. Okay. No, let's see. There we go. Okay. And I will. Yep. There we go. Okay. Great. Great. And hold on to see. Okay, Miss Aretha Williams Copeland also said congratulations. She's watching on Facebook. She's here in South Carolina. So Miss
Thank
Aretha, you may
you.
see her in November. Just putting that out there. But yes, so we would love to have you here, CC. It'd be so good to see you again in person. It's been a while. It has definitely been a while. So you guys go and get your copy of the book. No, it's she just you get your autograph copy through her, and while you're waiting on that, you can go to Amazon and get your Kindle because we all be looking on our phones, or everything, all the things. So, but it's definitely a great book to get into. And she says amazing. Bold One for Life on YouTube says amazing interview. Keep striving for greatness. Thank you so much for tuning in over on YouTube. We definitely appreciate you. Um, and Cecilia, I guess if do you have any, and I know I asked you this kind of sort of before, do you have any final words that you would like to leave with the audience or with women or just anyone in specific?
Freedom is possible if you only seek it through God. So if you're searching and you're struggling with something, just seek God and God will help you get the healing that you need. Again, freedom is possible through God.
All right, you guys, you heard it from her right there. Freedom is possible with God. Just surrender to Him. All right, and Aretha says, Amen. We claim it in Jesus' name. And I just like to thank you all so much for tuning in with us tonight. We have enjoyed having you here with us. And I know Cece's not going to be a stranger. Miss Cecilia Columbus is not going to be a stranger here with us. She will be back for something because she loves, it's a good combination, a good collaboration. So, and I love speaking with you and learning more about you. So, with that being said, everyone, I would like to thank you all so much for tuning in. You see the links right there. Go get the book, go get the book, go get the book, and go get the book. Right? And pay attention to her. Would you like to tell them any of your socials so that they can stay
Sure,
tuned? Yes. Mhm.
they can connect with me at freedomencourages.com or Cecilia Columbus on Facebook or Rise with Cecilia on Instagram.
All right, all right. So you guys, you heard it right there. Rise to Freedom on Instagram, and she forgot one other thing to mention that she does too, and I'll let her say it. What's has the same name?
Oh, the Rise to Freedom podcast. Yes, you can tune
Yeah,
in to that on any podcast platform as well. And as I like to say, remember that God has already given you everything you need to rise.
that's right. There, you heard it from her right there, you guys. So that we'll say thank you guys so much for tuning in with us tonight, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode. And of course, join us in November, Saturday, November 14th, here in Aiken, South Carolina, for the third annual Hours Matter Author Expo. And we're prayerfully, Miss Cecilia M. Columbus will be there. But you all have a wonderful night, okay?